Deep in the thick forests, where few dare to go, there was an abandoned village called Dark Shadow. For centuries, no one had come near this village, as it was famous for its frightening legends and mysterious events. But there was a man named Saleem who decided to live in that dark village away from the noise of the world. Saleem was an introverted person who loved peace and isolation. When he heard about the abandoned village, he saw an opportunity for a quiet life, away from everyone. He moved to one of the old dilapidated houses in Dark Shadow and began to bring life back to the house in his own way. The first days were quiet. All he could hear were the sounds of the wind and falling leaves. But after a week, things began to change. One dark night, Saleem woke up to a faint sound coming from the basement. It was like faint footsteps moving slowly. He thought it was just the old sound of the abandoned house, but the sounds began to repeat themselves every night, getting closer. Saleem felt something strange, as if the house was hiding old secrets. He decided to investigate. He went downstairs, where the sounds were getting clearer as he got closer. He found an old door behind a pile of dilapidated furniture, which he hadn't noticed before. When he opened the door, he discovered a narrow, dark tunnel leading deep into the ground. Saleem decided to explore beyond this tunnel, carrying his flashlight. With every step he took inside the tunnel, he felt the air getting colder and strange sounds echoed around. After a short distance, he reached a small underground room, which contained an old table and worn books scattered everywhere. But what caught his attention was a large cracked mirror placed in the corner of the room. As Saleem approached the mirror, he saw his reflection for the first time in this strange place. But his reflection wasn't moving as it should. The image in the mirror seemed to be staring at him, as if it was living a life of its own. Suddenly, the image began to change, and the features of another man appeared, distorted features filled with anger and hatred. Saleem stepped back in fear, but the mirror began to shake as if something was trying to get out of it. He ran back to his house, but since that night, nothing had been the same. Doors opened and closed by themselves, and terrifying sounds echoed throughout the house. Even his reflection in the mirror began to disappear sometimes, as if he was no longer himself. Saleem knew that he had released something evil from that tunnel, something that had been locked away for centuries in the depths of the abandoned village. He tried to leave the village, but the paths disappeared before him, and darkness enveloped everything. He eventually realized that he had become a prisoner of this cursed village, where angry spirits were seeking revenge, and he was now part of this ancient curse. The Dark Shadow remained as it had always been, a deserted village that no one dared to approach, where Saleem now lived as a shadow among the shadows, waiting for the next adventurer to come and fall into the same trap.